Hi, this is Mark Seiver with Second Earth Foundation Ministries and Vital Health Formulas. Tonight's guest is Dr. Elizabeth Weiss, a quite accomplished healer, herbologist, and much more, including energy healing. So let's get right on with it. Hello, Dr. Weiss, and let me ask you right off the cuff. Doctor, what was it that made you want to go into all-natural health to begin with?
Well, I love people. I have a special feeling for every single one of them. As I just see the person inside, what they actually, I can feel their pain just by looking at their eyes. I can see what is wrong in them, and that's how actually is why I love my job and helping them. I love to help them to find out what they're sick and how to fix the problem. Because the body actually it heals by itself. Only they need the nutrients, the special nutrients that the body is missing. So.
And people have different needs.
Yeah, they have different needs. Every single one is an individual. Somebody can have high blood pressure because maybe the kidneys are working slow. And sometimes people have high blood pressure because they have a lot of stress. Other people can have high blood pressure because they're eating wrong. So we need time to be talking to a person and also listening to the person, how they feel or how they see figurativamente su disease, for me to be able to actually to find out what kind of herbs they need. And sometimes doctors don't have answers. And sometimes people who practice herbs or herbologists, nutriologists or iridologists, we have some answers. Why? Because we do research and we help them to find out why they're feeling sick. We clean their bodies, we detox their bodies, they take nutrients, vitamins, herbs, and the body by itself is healing and if they get better, and sometimes they get over, they're fine.
And of course, you have an added benefit if people come to see you directly, because you also do energy healing that helps to release emotional blocks that people have to be able to get well.
Correct. Yes. I do energy healing because sometimes when our frequencies or our chakras are actually open or they just have a blockage, the energy source in the body is not fluent correctly. So the organs in the brain, they're just not communicating. So when we open the channels with electricity or energy, then in the moment the body is able to communicate with the organ and find out what actually the organ needs. So once, for example, you turn the light in the room, you're going to see what is the problem. So it happens the same thing with the organs. Once the brain is connected to the organ, so and then the body sends nutrients, sends the vitamins to the organ to start actually the process helping the body or the organ for the body to heal itself.
So you're saying that as we go through life and through all of our stresses and traumas and toxins filling the body, that there is an electrical impulse disconnect from what the brain normally does and how it normally interacts with an organ to keep it healthy versus what happens to us as we get older, and depending on how we take care of ourselves, there becomes maybe a partial disconnect or a very large disconnect, and you help to recreate those connections so that all the energy can flow to the organs so that it can get nutrients and so that it can come back into balance.
Correct. Exactly. So when a person has a trauma or an accident, when the body goes through certain trauma, the body immediately it cuts communication with certain organ. Okay? In that moment, the organ, the energy source or the energy that actually the organ is absorbing and is getting being alive, is start dying. Okay? Also, when the person is eating and they have an argument or they go through some type of thing, when they're eating certain food, also they can develop allergies. So all of these things that actually that body goes through and how they get sick and how they can heal, actually that is extremely amazing. So and they gets my attention, and this is the way also I like to dedicate my life to natural healing.
It sounds like that the nutrients and herbs and the formulas part of it is a clue to the answer, because it not only provides those essential nutrients and minerals and herbs that the body needs, but those herbs and nutrients also help to energetically open up pathways in the body. And then you take your healing work and then you work on the psychological, emotional, spiritual aspect of a person, so that it all synergistically comes together and takes effect and has a very, very powerful healing effect in relatively a short period of time.
Yeah, correct. The body, herbs, everything has a frequency. So when our body is sick, the frequency is like an orchestra. Its own notes are missing. It's not a full orchestra playing. So it's the same with our body. If something is wrong, it's broken, doesn't work, it's not working properly.
Okay, it's been explained very, very well. Thank you so much.
Now, I understand that people do not have to come to you for energy healing to get well. Your herbal supplements and your supplement program is extremely powerful, as you have shared with me some of the amazing things that have happened with people and their bodies healing versus them spending $50,000 for certain types of treatment for certain types of illnesses. And it seems as though your supplements can potentially do the same thing as these much more expensive medical treatments. But also, people can use our product, the biologically resonant harmonizer, or the much less expensive product, Calming Tod Bear, to effectuate a similar type of effect with sound frequency healing.
Correct. Yes.
Let me ask you something. How old were you when you first were being taught about nature or about healing, and where was it that you developed this interest? About what age did that start to happen?
Oh, wow. I was interested in a very early age. I was maybe around 9.
You were 9 years old?
Yes. Actually was the one who introduced me into the herbs, because she actually was a herbalist.
So your mother passed down her knowledge, especially from your very rich culture in the area where you lived in Mexico. She passed down this knowledge that was passed down to her directly to you.
Correct.
And this is starting at 9. And this is starting at 9 years old.
Yes, I actually at that age, I already knew what kind of herbs that was good for the kidneys, for the lungs, to detox your body, for diabetes, well, sugar in the blood, and also for constipation, all of that. So at a very early age, actually, I got my interest in to know more and more about the herbs.
And you moved to America how old were you when you moved to America?
I was around 30, in my 30s.
In your 30s.
Yeah.
And then you began taking more courses and classes here, so you have a very rich upbringing from your native culture, directly passed on from your mother, from her mother and her grandmother, etc., through the family. And now you come to America and you start taking a lot of courses, because you shared with me that you have 12 certifications in different areas of health and wellness.
Yeah, correct. I really have more interest in also in how to become more expert in this actually area, because either I studied something else during my youth. I studied other careers. I always was leaning toward the herbs. I always got my attention, and I always end up helping people to actually take care of their health.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let me ask you this. So you started at an early age. If you had to just take a guess, Okay, over all the years, how many, so it sounds like you've had nonstop studying, that you don't ever stop learning.
No, I never stop really. Maybe I rest for some months, and then I have interested in something else, and I go after the essential oils or more or yeah, different areas.
All the
Totally
different, you're right,
different
many
areas.
different areas of health and wellness and spiritual and emotional well-being, that you studied all
Anything,
of it.
yeah, yeah, bioenergy, but always based in health, natural health.
Could you just simply name some of name the certificates that you have, or some of the certificates that you have that you're certified
Okay.
in? I know one of them is iridology, and I know that you're a doctorate of naturopathy.
Yes. I
Fantastic. And
have
what are some of the other certifications that you have?
I have three in herbology. Well, first of all, is the introduction to the herbs. Second one is actually how to make tinctures, syrups, extracts. It's how to actually prepare like a natural medicine.
So you're preparing all of your own herbal extracts and tinctures, and I also understand that you are creating new blends and new mixtures that are more powerful than what have been out there in the past.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think from what my mother told me to today, that how much I've been learning and my knowledge is a lot.
Before you tell us all of your certifications, if you had to take a guess for how many total years in your life you have studied, how many total years of your life would you say that you studied?
Well, let me see. I've been studying to the earth, maybe from seriously, with the time, I would say 25 to 30 years.
So it sounds like most of your life you are continually learning, and then you're continually advising other people and or treating other people with energy healing, and you've been doing this your whole life.
Yes, practically, yes, my whole life. Yeah.
So okay, that wow. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's not that many people that have that type of background, especially from your native homeland, and then coming to America and spending so much time in study in so many areas. It seems like you have such a great viewpoint on the overall human body, psyche, mind, emotional, and how everything ties together, and not only how it all ties together, but exactly what to do for that individual person to effectuate a healing and an upliftment of their life.
Yeah, it's amazing. The human body is amazing. So I would love you to keep studying, and I'm not going to stop. I guess until I die. I love that, and I love to help people because it's a huge need for people to know what's going on with their bodies. Why we get sick, why we disintegrate when there's so much nutrients, and why we are in pain, why we all congested. So I think it's a lot of people deserve to know, and this is why I'm here.
And I know
Give
that,
it
I
out.
know especially in our country, because of our medical system, they're not sharing any of this information with people. You go in there, you see them 20 minutes, and they write you a prescription, and according to another consultant of mine who was a pharmacologist for 23 years, okay, worked for GlaxoSmithKline and some of the other big names, and he quit. And he said to me, Elizabeth, he said, Mark, every single one of their medications, and he was a pharmacologist, he made the drugs that are out there today, and he got fed up with it. He said, every single one of their medications is a toxic poison designed to cover up symptoms. And what it does is, yes, your symptoms go away, but your body's getting sicker and it's being poisoned. And by the end of X amount of years, the doctor's going to tell you, well, you need more drugs to cover up more of your symptoms. Oh, this is bad. You got high cholesterol. You've got to take these drugs. And yes, it might ruin your liver, but we'll bring down your, whatever your problem is. So in this country, the need for this truth of what our bodies are, how they heal, what they do, and how to do it, and teaching people, you know, how to have a different viewpoint of healing and their own responsibility towards that, and you provide that. And I know that from spending time with you, you are such a loving soul, and just to be around you, I know for me anyway, you feel a great deal of peace inside and a great deal of confidence that things are going to work out really well. And that's something that I found that you give to people.
I'm glad you feel good.
So, Doctor, let me ask you this, or should I like to call you Dr. Elizabeth.
Okay.
So why don't you name for us the very specific certificates that you have?
Okay. Well, how I mentioned, I have that one for herbology. Okay. I have nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
I have the radiology, body mechanics, light touch treatment, and bioenergy, Zanko energy.
What kind? I didn't hear that. What was that?
Zanko. It was a course where I studied how to use the energy from actually the universe, the frequencies and energy to put it inside of the body, like redo the whole DNA through the energy of the
And could you spell? And I didn't hear that name. Could you say the name? Could you spell that word? Is that?
It's a little hard to say because I don't have it here with me. Zanko.
Oh, Zanko. Zanko. Okay. All right. So.
Bioenergy.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And what are the other ones?
Okay. And I don't know. I mentioned already light touch treatment and reflexology. Of course, I've been actually repeating that once. Okay. And that's it.
And of course, the doctorate of naturopathy, which is a real big one.
And my certified natural health professional is actually my title too.
Well, I will tell you that when you shared with me that you get 48 phone calls and 100 texts a day, and you actually answer people, I was astounded. That's a lot of phone calls for one day for one person to handle. And it's great that you're with Vital Health Formulas, that we're going to be able to support all of this and bring all of your incredible wealth of knowledge to individuals and to your students that we're going to be training. I'm very, very excited to be able to be working with you. You really are a rare person. I don't know that I've ever met anybody with such integrity and such love for others and so skilled.
Thank you.
No, you're so welcome. Well, Doc, thank you so much for speaking with me tonight. And I'm sure that we'll talk more in our next interviews. Maybe we can talk about some of the major problems that are out there in the United States and what those are, and some of the things that people can do that would really, really impact it. And it would be very easy for them to do this, especially with the busy lifestyles that people have. So we'll get to all that in our next interview. And everybody saying goodnight from Second Earth Foundation
and Vital Health Formulas. Be well, everybody.